Hey, welcome. It's Captain Matt, Boater's Secret Weapon. I want to thank you for joining us for this Sunday night live. We're getting ready to start here in just a couple of minutes here. We'll start about 8:30, but I wanted to welcome you. If you've never been to a live, here's what you can expect. Just go ahead and chat in your comment section, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube. Just ask your question, leave your comment there, and then as we go through the time, I just kind of scroll down all the comments and I try to answer them. Now, if it's something that I need to ask you a question, I may ask you a question and just put it in the chat again, and I'll come back and I'll get that information so I can give you a more personalized response, something that's going to really add value for you. This is just something I do. One, it's great fun. I really enjoy it. It's helpful for the community. Just sharing my knowledge. Now, one thing that you need to know, I don't know everything about boats. I know a lot about boats. I've been a boater since I was 5. I've sold boats. It's something that is a big part of my life. With that said, I don't know everything. Matter of fact, sailboats, have zero experience with sailboats. Bass boats, very little experience there. Bow riders, deck boats, center consoles, jet boats, twin engines, stern drives, outboards, inboards, all of that I have experience with. And if I have an answer, I'll give you my best answer. If I don't have an answer, I'll try to give you a resource that will be valuable for you. If I have an opinion, I'll try to give you that opinion, but let you know this is what I think, not what I absolutely know. So I look forward to it. Here's a little video intro that a subscriber made for me. Thanks, Bo. And we'll see you on the live when it kicks off here in just a moment. Welcome to the Sunday Night Live, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Looks like we got a good crowd on to start today. Let's see here who we got. Sustainability, welcome. Buffering, Jerry, gotcha. Good to have you. Hopefully, I swapped out my router, so hopefully I can play videos and I can do some stuff now. We'll see how that works out. Kings in the City, welcome. And I got a fly in here. If you see me swatting around, I'm trying to get rid of a fly. Good to have you, Ray from Indiana. Good to have you. Let's see. Would it be great for you to demonstrate how to winterize, change the oil, number of other things boaters have to do? Yes. I have a couple of those. Here's the problem with sustainability is I'm not the right guy to teach a lot of that stuff and knowing the ins and outs. So here's what I've done. Let's see here. Oil change. All right, so this is Mike Mandel. He's the owner of Charlotte Boat Repair, and he is on Lake Wiley. You can see his. Oh, I like Josh the RV nerd. I'm not sure why I jumped there, but anyway, he's done this annual service, oil change, gear lube change, filter. I need to get up with him to do a winterization one. I haven't done it. He's in the part of it is he's in the middle of winterization time right now in the Carolinas, and with his busy schedule, with my busy schedule, we haven't connected to do that. But it's on the list, and there's a couple of them. As a matter of fact, I've got footage from this was on a Yamaha. Yeah, this was a Yamaha, and I've got one on a Mercury. Maybe it was a Suzuki. Anyway, one of those as well, doing the same service, talking about the fuel water separator, and going through all of that. What's interesting is this video has been out for a year. It hasn't gotten a whole lot of views, 2,600. maybe it's because I didn't cut it up. Like I'm not great at the editing part yet. I need to get better at that, or hire somebody. Just frankly, I for those of you that don't know, like I made $1,900 last month from my videos. So it's not something where I've got a ton of money to invest in a skill that I don't have. I can put these videos together. I've got the knowledge that's worth $2,000 a month, of revenue. Mine, I've got expenses that go with that as well, my time and whatever. But hiring somebody to do the editing, I've got to figure out, could it jump the revenue up to 4,000? I got to pay them 2,000, so I'm making twice as much on the front end, but my net is the same. Is that worth it or not? And I've got to figure that out. So anyway, I appreciate that. I've got all sorts of thoughts in my head. It's just a matter of how do I make it worth the effort, and still make it something that can sustain my family. And obviously, $2,400 or $24,000 a year, that just doesn't cut it in today's world. So that's why I offer the programs. That's why, if you want to support the channel in other ways financially, it's always appreciated. With becoming somewhere in here, you can become say thanks, or you can become a member in some way or another. I don't promote it a ton. There we go. Join. If you join, you can do that. So that's always appreciated. It will allow me to keep doing it if enough people support it in that way, because I don't see YouTube paying us more. So all right, Arlington, welcome. That's a new name there. Good evening, Captain Matt. What are your thoughts on the Crownline 310 CRX? Be really interested in the Regal, but after seeing the Crownline offering at an Annapolis show, let's see. I bought the Potomac off the Chesapeake. All right, so we've got, I'm sure Jerry has chimed in. Jerry has the Regal 28 Express, but I haven't seen the Crownline 310. What I can say is that I like the Crownline. Crownline's a good, solid mid-tier boat. There's boats that are built better, but you don't necessarily need it. So I have not seen this boat. The Crownline cruisers have typically been good, not great. I think Sea Ray and Regal are two in that kind of express cruiser lineup, do an outstanding job. I think Crownline does okay, but there are certain things they don't do as well. Now, with that said, I haven't been on the newest generation of Crownline cruisers, so anything in the last 5 years, I don't know that I've been on a Crownline cruiser, because they don't make very many of them. But when you start looking at the detail, here's a couple of things that I do when I'm on a cruiser. Is like any of these areas where there's a finish piece. Let me go bigger on that screen so you can see what I'm talking about. And don't take this as a knock on Crownline at all, because they're good quality boats. My family has owned multiple Crownlines over the years and had great experiences with them. As a matter of fact, I really like their styling. I think they're really good looking boats. But in some of the cabin boats, you'll see all these finish pieces on the interior cabin. And what can happen is you can they are just finished pieces. Everything's stick built in there. Sometimes you can kind of stick your hand up through. Not a big deal, except for it. The boats they're not as structurally solid because it's all stick built in there. It's not fiberglass together, where it's actually a part of the structure of the boat. Again, if you're taking it out in really, really rough seas, it's going to matter. But you're not taking a 31-foot cruiser, which probably with a family, you're not taking that out in bad conditions. You may get stuck every now and again. but you need to watch the weather and pay attention. And it's not going to be a consistent thing the boat goes through. I mean, looking at the cabinetry, if you look at a Regal, if you look at a Sea Ray, they're using the same laminates covering on the wood. That it looks like they're using the same countertops. There's just some little things that they do that are different. That looks like a very similar panel. And if the value's there for you, if the dealer is solid in that market area, then then you're in good shape. Couple of things that I would look for, because this matters on cruisers, is where's the AC? How do you access the filters on the air conditioning? How do you access the generator if you've got a gen set on it? How do you access the strainers that you're going to need to get to, and the seacocks to turn things on and off in the different months if you leave it in the water for later into the season? How do you access all those things, and are they convenient or are they challenging to get to? And you'll have to do that on the boat. If you were at the Annapolis show, I think the Annapolis show was this weekend. I don't remember that 100%, but a good solid boat. There are ones that are better built, but again, it probably doesn't matter the way you boat. I like that Sure Shade. I assume that's Sure Shade. That's really a nice option if it comes that way. I assume that is, but if you notice, similar boats, they've got a 27, so they make a 27 and a 31. There's just aren't very many of those express cruiser type boats available. It's not as common of a boat as it used to be 15, 20 years ago. So that doesn't mean it's not valuable. The good thing is there's always people looking to buy them on the pre-owned market. Even though the new market has gone down, there's people that are looking for them, and a lot of times they don't want to spend the money to go new. So the resale market on them after 5-7 years is actually pretty strong once that comes down. Rob, good to have you. I volunteer my boat for any of Herb, I don't know if I'm making house calls yet. That's something that I should do. I know Huck's 2012, Charlie up in Minneapolis with the jet boat invited me up there to do some videos on his jet boat. I should have taken him up on it because I haven't been able to get those scheduled over the past couple of years since he made that offer. But yes, that is good. Again, I can do a lot of that stuff, but it's not my personal expertise. That's why Mike has been a tech for 20 plus years. He's worked on anything from, he was in the Great Lakes. He's been at the coast in Savannah working on, 100-meter yachts, diesel engines, that type of stuff. He's done big loop boats, with all the systems. He's now in a freshwater lake here in the Carolinas doing he does probably a 20 boat rental fleet with Yamaha, Mercury, Suzuki's, and then has a lot of stern drive business as well, being on a freshwater lake. So he's really, really well versed in a lot of areas, and but he's so busy as a technician. It's hard to get up with him and not slow him down when he's in the work mode. Shooting a video talking about service stuff, that doubles his time in the job, because I'm asking questions, I'm getting in the way, I'm saying, let me change my cameras, all that. Bo, good to have you. Brooklyn Mark, good to have you back. You were in last week, it looks like. Jason 211, good to have you. Matt, good to have you. LJC, good to have you back. Brock, all right, Brock, what's the update? How did it go on Thursday? Let us know. Jason's right on it too. Nice. Sad day in Kentucky, about to switch gears and year maintenance and winterization. Yeah, it's getting there. I just got back like 15 minutes before I jumped on. We just got back to the house. We were at a little family reunion on my wife's side in Columbia, South Carolina, which is about an hour south. And they've got a pool. It was heated, thankfully, but my daughters made me get in, and it was chilly. It's winding up for us here as well. Um, let's see, Joe. There's that fly. I got to get him. Joseph Farley, do you recommend I shrink wrap my boat in the winter with the winter canvas on or off? Regal 260 in the Northeast. It depends. I'm going to probably say off. It depends on how well that canvas is vented. Here's the thing: is you want some breathing, you want some airflow through it. So if you've got your canvas on and then the plastic canvas on, it may not breathe enough, depending on how well vented your canvas is. Some of the vent holes that you cut. Let me see if I can find a good picture. In the Northeast. So if you'll see, let's see if I can get an angle that let's see here. What'd you say? You've got a 26 EXO shrink wrapped vents. Yeah, so if you look at this right here, these vents allow the boat to breathe, and that allows for some airflow so it doesn't get all stagnant. And if there's even just a bit of moisture in there, it's going to start mold and mildew when it starts warming up. It's kind of like a greenhouse, and there's going to be moisture because of the condensation, right? The hot cold is going to cause condensation, and that condensation is going to get moisture inside, and so you need the. All right, I'm losing my quickness. That condensation is going to cause problems for you. So you can use dry rid, but I would probably go without it. I would probably go without that canvas cover, and just make sure it is. Where was that picture? Make sure that it's strapped up right so that you don't get. Maybe it was on this one. There we go. So I know you've got a cruiser, so it'll be a little easier. I don't know if that 26 has an arch, but you'll want something that is going to keep the snow. See, this is just a tarp, but that structure is going to keep the snow and the rain from pooling and stretching your shrink wrap, damaging the shrink wrap, tearing it potentially if you get too much weight on it, and then causing that nasty water to fall in your boat when you take it off, or even causing a rip, and then water just getting in your boat all winter long. Because once that happens and it's December, you're kind of out of luck unless you get a really long warm spell. Ryan, welcome from New Mexico. Good to have you. Bo, older boater, because I said Bayliner Jazz was a bad boat. Hey, if I had a penny for every time somebody got upset when I said something not 100% positive about their boat that they owned 30 years ago, that's funny. That is funny. And thank you for Bo. You're always generous with the contributions. I appreciate that. No, I haven't yet. I have been so busy. I've started a relationship with a company that's in the marina space and doing some work with them, and that has had me tied up this week. And my schedule is going to be very, very busy over the next several months. So But I will, when I talk to him, I will ask him about that coupler. Remove the canvas, collapse the bimini, shrink wrap. Yeah, yeah, and Jerry's right up in your area there as well. Random question: do you think it's worth joining a yacht club or just get a slip at a regular marina? It depends. It depends on how you like to boat. There is like and it depends on your style too. So the nice thing about a yacht club is you probably got a pool, you probably got a nicer, more upscale restaurant, and there's a social aspect to it. There's a social aspect to it that there's going to be events. There's going to be a holiday ball that even when the boat's all wrapped up, they're going to bring together to the yacht club, and you're going to have a group of friends that are year-round friends. You're going to have a swimming pool probably that you come off the lake and it's raining. You go in, you get a bite to eat, you get some ice cream, you hang out. The weather clears up, and then you just go swimming for a while, and you've got your boating friends are there, and you've got a place to hang out outside of just sitting in the boat at the docks, which is something I love to do. Then you've got like my daughters, they see a house with the pool at the lake and they're like, why do they need a pool? They got the biggest pool you could imagine in the water there. But it depends on what you enjoy. um, it can be expensive. It certainly adds to the expense. But if you are that social type person, if if you're in sales, if you're a business owner of some sort and networking is valuable to you, that can be worth it right there. That aspect alone, because you're networking with higher net worth individuals, probably business owners, probably executives, probably highly successful salespeople in their industry. And you've got the commonality of, if you're in that economic category and you like boating, now you've got two things. And it's a great business opportunity. The networking that you get there is incredible. The people that you meet on the docks at the yacht club can be highly valuable connections, depending on what your industry is, and your career. So, David, let's see, David Price, welcome. Do you have an opinion about Starcraft Islander aluminum boat with the Mercruiser? Should I worry about loose rivets? Um, no, I mean, depends on how, if it's a new one. Starcraft, I don't know. Are they still making aluminum? No, that's Starwell. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't know if they're making. Why don't I just do this? Star boats. Here's fishing. What'd you say? The Islander. Yeah, so they're not making the Islander any longer. When did they stop? Um, JD Powers, Islander. freedom, freedom. Yeah, they've made so many models. All right, so that was '08. let's go to 12. I bet they stopped making it by then. Yeah. Okay, so they weren't making it in 12. So it's at least older than 2012. So it's an older boat. If they're if they've been well maintained, I'm not super concerned with a riveted boat leaking a little bit. Frankly, it's probably going to. What I'm concerned about is if there's multiple rivets that are like going to cause structural issues. So just go through the boat, and you're going to need to get under the trailer or get it up on a hoist some way or another, but just go through and find out what you're dealing with rivet wise. Was this boat beat up? Was this boat run aground, and a bunch of the rivets have popped? They ran into the dock a bunch, and it's really caused those rivet holes to get bigger, just because of the wear and tear on the boat. Then I'm not super excited about it. But if I'm a day boater, I'm a trailer boater, and I'm not leaving the boat in the water, and it's got a little bit of leaking, just make sure your bilge pump's in good shape. And if it fits your budget, I'm not super concerned about it if that aluminum boat suits your needs. But what I am concerned about is if there's a whole bunch of rivets missing, in so let's say like in that as you're getting towards the keel area on the bottom. Now I'm probably going to pass on that boat. Not all of the Starcraft aluminum, not any riveted boat, like a low or a Sun Tracker or something like that that's riveted as well. They're by the nature of the beast, they're going to leak a little bit at some point. And just stay on top of it. If you are inclined, drill those rivets out that are bad, go up a bigger size and pop rivets in there and just stay on top of it. And that's not rocket science type work. If you're mechanically inclined at all, it's actually fairly easy. And you can do that as well to shore it up a little bit more. And but if a bunch of rivets are broken, I'm worried about how well they take care of that 3.0 liter engine. How well, and you'll be able to see the damage on that aluminum boat on the underside if you inspect it well. So hopefully that gives you not concerned if it's been well taken care of. Walk away, find a different one if it hasn't, unless you're inclined to do some work. But go through that engine in detail, the engine and the drive in detail. So hopefully that helps you out. What do I think about Manitou pontoons? Max decks, no big motor sticking up behind your pontoon. Don't want one. Don't want one. I hate it. I think it's a terrible design. I think it's going to be Manitou is. I think it's going to be the downfall of Manitou. I think it's if they push that Rotax engine. All right. So let me pause and say I love the design. I think the design is outstanding. You can only do it with that Rotax or a jet drive. Okay, so the Sea-Doo switch that they came out with, right? The performance is going to be awful because you've got all that extra weight down on the back, and that engine is going to be a disaster in my estimation. If I'm going to make a prediction, is only first time boaters are going to buy that boat because experienced boaters aren't going to have anything to do with it. Um, Newer boaters tend to make more silly. I'm sorry, more silly mistakes because they just don't know. It's why we created the free boater boot camp, is because it's a whole new world. There's so many things they don't know, and those engines are going to be in rough environments. Eventually, water's going to get in there, and that engine's going to be a disaster. And the designing of the Manitou, so outside of the Rotax, which I'm not a fan of, I'm also not a fan of the designing that they went to. Like this designing, I think it looks cheap. I think it makes it look like a cheaper boat. And Manitou was, I had Barletta Manitou as my number one, number two 2 years ago when I did that video, and I held true. Then I saw this come out, and I was like, they're gonna kill Manitou and they're gonna kill Alumacraft, because they're pushing this. Talk to dealers. Dealers don't want it. Dealers know water's going to get in that, and I don't care what technology you put there. Water's likely going to get into it, and it's going to be a disaster. And then what are you going to do? You got to put a stern drive on it, or you got to rip that deck off and put an outboard on, and now you lose that decking, which is awesome, but it just that that drive is going to be a bad thing. So I personally think that they're going to kill the Manitou brand and the Alumacraft brand if they try to push that too hard, because the only people who are going to buy it are people that don't know any better. And those people are going to make mistakes. They're going to have a bad experience. They're going to get out of boating, and the brand's going to go down the crapper. That's my 100% no inside information, personal opinion of the matter. And but I've never run one, so I'll give you that. The Insult Investor, welcome back. My boat's a Marathon brand from the 80s, only existed in the 80s, but was a Sea Ray copy. Definitely better than the Bayliner. All right. Bo, calm down, relax, take a deep breath. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. All right, here we go. It was awesome. I won the last Thursday night tournament with 16.4 pounds, took home 20 grand prize for the year. Add it to the rest of the. That is awesome, Brock. Congratulations, man. So if you don't know, Brock has been a subscriber, a viewer, a consistent voice on the lives for pretty much since I started. I remember 2 years at the Charleston Boat Show. Brock met me and we did a live together, him and I live together, which was awesome. And he won his last year's tournament, this year's tournament. And not only is he a hell of a fisherman, but he also has been very generous sharing his knowledge and his experience with everybody in the community. So it couldn't have gone to a better guy. And Jason, you need to get some fishing tips from him, because he's gonna increase your rate of catch tremendously. I knew something was coming from you, Bo. I didn't know what it was going to be. Hopefully have you got out, Bo? Let me know if you've gotten out on your new Bayliner. See how it's going. I assume that's the keeps running strong. That's the new one. Another win, another boat. Least your habit is paying for itself. That's true. That is true. That's a good hobby right there. Exactly, luxurious ride. It runs. Hey, it runs, gets you out on the water. That is the key. Most of the time it works out. Hopefully I can find what I'm looking for this winter. Yeah, Brock, you know this as well as I do, that the right boat shows up. I mean, it happened with your Sportsman. It's happened with, I'm sure, other boats. It happened to, I showed the email from Andy and Adam up in New York. It happened to Bo when his Bayliner came available. The right boat tends to show up. And if you're ready to pull the trigger, all the better. For sure. For sure. Any boat's better than no boat. That is correct. Get you out on the water. All right. Yeah, I don't. I feel like I'm hearing my phone going off. Hang on a second. All right. What's a decent, inexpensive used boat for wake surfing, smaller Southwest lake? So your best bet, I'm going to say, Ryan, is it's to make do. And now tell me what you mean by inexpensive. Okay, so like the new new Nautiques and the Malibus and all that are, I mean, 300,000. But let me know what inexpensive is to you, because it's all relative. Um, and here's what I'm just going to go. And where'd you say you were? Southwest Iowa. All right, so let's go by zip codes. We'll go 300 miles from what's a 57031? South Dakota. That gets us somewhat close. Used, and we will go 20,000 to 50,000. So a couple of things that you're gonna have to do. If you can find one, Ryan, that's got a V drive, the V drive is going to have the motor and the weight in the back, which is going to give you a better wake. The other thing, let me shut some of this stuff down. That's going to give you a better wake for surfing because you got more weight in the back. What is going on with my system here? Let me shut down my email as well here, because I feel like my system is really lagging. But so that would be the first thing that you're looking for. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to put a wedge on it. Okay, so it can be the wake shaper, the $400 wake shaper. It can be, which is a suction cup. That is going to be adequate. Now you can't switch it on the fly, obviously, but for the Brooke, thank you very much. I much appreciate that, and you are very welcome. Take shot. Nice. That is awesome. That is awesome. Okay. All right. That's what I was looking for. And thank you guys for the contributions. Very much appreciated. Brooklyn Mark as well. Very much appreciated. And just throw any more comments in. And I will get to them. And I can see I'm already over talking tonight, and my throat isn't gonna hang for a 2-hour night tonight, I don't think. But that's what you're going to want to do. Now, actually, your 60 to 75,000 actually puts you in a pretty good category, because you can definitely get into the newer generation that's going to have the V drive. You might even have a surf system on it, but that's going to stay away from a jet boat. That you can surf it, but it's not a surf boat. If sounds like you're probably wanting to go a little bit more serious about surfing the way you asked your question. Decent, inexpensive, good value, slightly used, wake surfing, smaller. All right, so you could probably get away with a 21 footer as well. That's gonna 20 to, we'll say 23. I don't know what lake you're on out there. Probably not Okoboji if you're saying, but yeah, you're going to be in good shape. Malibu is going to be okay. I got my guy that helps me with some of my marketing stuff on the digital, the how to drive a boat training programs. He's got it might be a 14 Malibu wake setter that he loves. He's up in Ohio on a small chain of lakes up in Ohio. Centurion is probably going to have the best wake out of the gate for you. If you can find one that is, I don't know how many of those are in your area, but that Let's see here. 4. Yeah, that Enzo, this would be a fantastic option. Sioux City, that Mastercraft, the X series is going to be a good solid surfing boat. You can also, depending on your, the if you want to go a little bit newer, the Supreme boats, hey, they are scaled back, but they're using similar surf technology to the Centurion. They're owned by the same parent company, so they share some of it. So you might be able to get a 2018, 2019 Supreme. It's scaled back as far as the electronics go, but that could give you a great surf wake and get in that value category. So that may be something that you want to consider. You may have to travel a little bit if you don't have in your area. I don't know, Southwest Iowa. I grew up in Omaha, so you go into Lake of the Ozarks area, go down to or go to Okoboji area. You may have to expand a little bit, and I think you'll be able to find something nice. Watch my best and worst used wake boats. So this video right here, this yellow and green, check that out. How to buy a used wake boat. Watch that one as well. There'll probably be some valuable information there for you. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Arlington Walker, you are very welcome for sure. All right. 5-0 with the Alpha, and Bo just picked up that boat. Excuse me. I'm going to go get a cough drop because my throat is not doing good. All right. Sorry about that. You can also, Ryan, if you haven't yet, check out Chantel's channel. She is in Idaho. What's her channel name? Chantel Boats, I think, is what it is. Yeah, Chantel Boats. Check out her channel. She is a dealer. She's a salesperson at a dealer, but she's got some great videos as well, and very knowledgeable. That you'll probably find some good stuff there for you. Let's see here. Suck on this, but at least it'll allow me to finish talking here. Austin, if you're out on open ocean for months at a time, what do you get up to when you finally stop for a break? Do you ever bring some tasty snacks with you back onto the ship for your friends? If you're out on the open ocean for months at a time, I don't know. I have my captain's license. It's around here somewhere, but I'm not a real captain. When it comes to, like, I've never worked a real ocean going vessel before. I can run a boat 40 foot and under like a champ, no problem, in almost any condition that I would find myself in. But you put me on a commercial vessel and ask me to be a hand, I'm done. I'm out of my elements there. So I don't know how to answer that for sure. Annapolis Powerboat Show Thursday through today. Saw the Regal. Wife and her love upgrade. That's what happens, Jerry, when you go to the boat show. There's that next one, it starts calling your name. So that's awesome. I hope it was a good show. Hope you had good weather. Michael, love the stream so far. Thanks. Want to ask if you ever order some that's allowed? Would you be chill captain or one of the strict ones? If you ever order some women onto the boat, well, Michael, I've never would order women onto my boat. I've got a wife and two little girls, so that's who I boat with, and they tend to be the ones ordering me around. That's typically how it works. So, but I'm a pretty chill guy. Here's what I say: like when friends are out with me, I say, all right, especially kids. Here's the rules. The I go through the rules: life jackets, butts in seats. If I tell you to do something, if I ask you to do something, you do it, and if you don't, then we got to end the trip. And then the last rule I say is, and this is the most important. And that's like at this point, I've been pretty direct to them, and they, pretty stern with my rules, so the parents understand it, the kids understand it, that this is serious business. And I say, all right, this is the most important one. Like, and you've got to have a smile on your face the whole time. And then everybody laughs and we go out and have a good time. But what I find is by doing it that way, because when I sold boats, I would do demos with kids and families that have never been on the water. And they just didn't comprehend the dangers of getting up and moving around on the boat, or they didn't know that there was a prop spinning around on the back end. And so I came up with that little spiel so I could set the parents right. The kids knew I was serious, but they also knew I was a fun guy. I was making commissions. I was trying to sell them. And that technique worked really, really well for me. And then we'd have a good time. And I didn't have to be strict. It was everybody knew the rules. They followed it. If I asked them to do something, they did it. And it was great. So it's one of the things I teach in the best boat captain is come up with your spiel. That worked for my personality. Come up with what works for your personality and your rules, and it's helpful to have that, especially with new people, new boaters. Hey Cap, sell my father-in-law's '05 Cobalt 240 SX bow rider with the rare center console. I was just going to say that I don't recognize that 24 SX. I think the center console point as it's not the norm. Anytime I would throw out, if you're marketing it from a sales standpoint, I would throw out rare, because most people, when they're looking for a boat, rare doesn't translate the same as it would on a car. Like a rare car, it's like, ooh, that's awesome. A rare boat, unless it's like a special trawler or a special loop boat or something like that, that's got an option people love. It's like it's rare because it didn't catch on, right? The Cobalt wasn't able to tap into that center console market like in the 2000s. Sea Ray tried to make the Laguna, and it just didn't catch on. Like the Sea Ray brand and center console didn't work. They took that same exact boat and turned it into a Boston Whaler. It would have done great because that's what Boston Whaler is known for. So, yeah, I think it is going to make it a little bit more challenging. 2005. Let me pull this boat up. Danny, tell me where you're located as well. And this may be your actual boat. That's very interesting. I have never seen that layout before. So, all right. So what you need to do is figure out why is that going to be helpful to somebody. And if this is you, if you're in at Smith Yacht Sales, you know, don't hide the fact. And hey, it's great. Here's why I would like that as an operator is I've got better visibility everywhere. When I stand up, I'm in just like driving a center console. When you stand up, you've got great visibility. It's also nice because you've got that side walkthrough. And so they're not going to be sitting in front of you. This person sitting right here, if they're not going to be sitting up and their head in the way because you've got that pull through. And then you've also looks like you've got an even bigger head compartment here because of that layout. So I would focus on those things. And, that's probably going to be your best bet. It's a stern drive. So It's not going to be great at the coast. I mean, that is really weird. I don't understand why they did it. I guess just to try something new. That's interesting. I've never seen that layout before. Um, this is exactly like they didn't really gain anything out of it either because this is the exact layout that Cobalt's been using. Even now, it's switched sides. The walkthroughs on this side on their R's, but that's really wild. I I wouldn't mind running this boat though. Like I don't see a downside with it other than it's different. So, somebody that is looking to get something that's a to be unique on the water, maybe there is value in that rare statement. But yeah, it is gonna because it's different, it's gonna turn some people away, but also because it's different, here's the great thing is Danny, you only need one person to say, that's cool, I'll take it. Like that's all you need. And you just might have to sort through some people first and talk about you got the balance of the boat's better, the visibility is better, especially with people up front. If that head compartment truly is bigger, I don't see a picture of the head, so I don't know if that's true or not. But it looks like it might be. Oh, and you also have. All right, That's interesting that you've got those throttles. So for this is my brother on his twin has this actually. So these throttles, this is the shifter and this is the throttle. So to go forward, you put it in forward gear and then you give it more gas. Back to neutral, reverse, more gas forward. And it takes some getting used to running that boat. It's different. My brother's got him on his twin engine Envision, and when I'm docking, I slow it way down because I'm so used to just having one throttle, and it's real easy to grab the throttle instead of the shifter. There's a name for that setup, but it's more common on performance boats. I'm interested. I've never seen it on a Cobalt. So good luck with that. It's if that's your boat. I mean, that's a nice looking boat, but it is it is uncommon for sure. Let's see. Watch your video. The stern drives are dead. In Michigan, they certainly are not. Yeah, the that is that was kind of a clickbaity video just to see how it would do. I get so many people in the comments saying how dumb people are to buy stern drives and why do they even make them anymore. That's kind of why I went after it because I'm a lake guy. I love stern drives. I think they're awesome on a fiberglass boat. It's fantastic for my mind anyway. So let's see here, Danny. Worked on a boat for years. It was always a tough time. We love the job. Heck of a lot of job satisfaction. We, all right. So I don't know what's going on here, but you guys are gone. I'm not. I'm not dealing with that nonsense. Um, Hang on. I'm kicking some folks out here. I thought, Bo, I thought I did that. I thought I did that and made it. All right. Let's hopefully we got them all out of here. All right. So I think I banned everybody that needed to be banned. I apologize about that. And Bo, I may reach out to you to get that set up right because obviously I didn't do it properly. Um, I didn't do it properly or something. So I was wondering those comments were getting weird, and so I should have caught that sooner. All right. Where are we at now? Danny. Yeah, it is cooling down. It is fall is in the air. That's for sure. Um, let's see. Do you ever use the implication to your advantage? Well, I missed this guy. What is going on? I don't understand. Dave, welcome. This ticks me off when I have to deal with this. Um, thank you, Jerry. Yeah. Um, let me know if you see more. Um, yeah. Okay. So keep going with the no canvas option. I think everybody's in agreement on that one for sure. Interesting. Interesting. uh, Joseph, you're welcome. Hank, good to have you stop by. I know, Bo. I need help. I need help. All right. Cobalt, definitely interesting. My in-laws loved it because they could sit next and hear when my father-in-law drove the boat. Wish we could keep it. Yeah, that is there's somebody that's gonna love that design. I don't know why it is, but they're gonna like that layout. And even that, even the you can have the conversation if you're just cruising, a couple together. That is a perfect situation. Yeah, yeah. Heyday Bow is another one that puts you. I think the brand new ones are 100, but a couple years old puts you in a. And again, surfs really well out of the gate without much, but you throw that wedge on it, and you're going to have a pretty great surf wave. Don't know if I should pull the trigger on a Sea Hunt 239 Ultra, 5,500 rebate. Hold out to see if it increases. Thinking sales are down. Um, with the 4K increase this month. I'm not sure what that 4K increase is, but let's look at Sea Hunt. Let's see how they're. I want to look back to see how they're promoting the rebate if they've got it on the site. Please submit. Okay. Yeah, so they're they're still marketing it. I would look at how many sea hunts does your area have? So take your dealer and just kind of go out 100 miles, 200 miles and see what the sea hunt inventory looks like, and even specifically the 239. What do those models look like? Are you seeing a bunch of them 2022s? That's a sign that there might be more coming. If they're down to just a couple 2023s and they're on to 2024s, then that $5,500 rebate's probably going to be going away. Excuse me. So that's something I would consider. But it's all inventory based. They look at the dealer network's inventory levels. That's how they determine what they're doing with rebates and what they're doing with pricings. And sometimes, like if that 2,400 pricing is, they're going to say that on the, and they raise the MSRP on the 2024s, but they do that really just to inflate that price, so that people say, oh, there's a $9,500 difference between the boats and they're exactly the same. And they push you to ordering or buying the in stock versus ordering the new exactly what you want. So there's a little bit of salesmanship in the way they handle those rebates as well. It's not good or bad. It's just that's why they're doing it. And check it out in your area. La Vista. Do you recommend turbo swing for tubing with pontoon? Avalon came with the ski bar that bent. Yeah, is you can do the turbo swing. Brock, I don't know if you ever ended up with that. I also on a pontoon, I'll just use a Y harness and I'll attach to the eye holes on the back. Just clip them on there, come to a Y, and then hook your tube. Put a booster ball on that if you want. If depending on how aggressive your riders want to get, that setup I think works great and pretty inexpensive. But the turbo swing works great as well. It's just a little bit more cumbersome. Not even cumbersome. It's a little bit more. It looks different, right? You'll get a lot of questions for, oh, what's going on there. But it from the people that are using them, it works great. So, but I made the video. I made a video about why you don't pull your tubes from there because it happens, and it happens when they dig in the water, they scoop it up. You get a couple thousand pounds of pressure, and 99% of the time it's fine. But the one time it digs down and scoops up that water, it's just too much force. That's what happens. Yeah, they're off for school tomorrow too, so they've got a friend over that's her parents needed somebody to watch her, so they're who knows what they're doing in their rooms. I'm sure it's something I don't want to know anything about. Yeah, definitely. Chantel's got some great information. She's a little bit far away from you in Idaho, but she's got good stuff. This is the saddest time of the year. Michaela is Jason's fiance. We were about to start winterizing process. Wish summer could last longer. We made so many great memories. That's what it's all about. That's how you know you made a great decision with the boat that you bought. Everything lined up, not perfect by any means, but you know you made a great decision, and you know you're just itching for next year to come. That's awesome. I'd love to hear it. Thank you, Herb. I appreciate it. Where do you boat out of without giving I am Brooklyn, Mark. I am just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm usually on Lake Wiley or Lake Norman. But I also have in-laws that have a place in outside of Knoxville, Tennessee, on Lake Loudon. So I'm there several times a year. My family has been going to the Lake of the Ozarks since I was 5 years old, and my family has a place there. So we didn't make it this year, but we typically spend a week or two there on the Lake of the Ozarks. And I'm only 3 hours from the coast, from Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington or Wrightsville Beach, Atlantic Beach. And so typically I end up at the coast every now and again, typically for work stuff. But try to get out at the coast at least a couple times a year and do a little bit there. But I'm typically a lake guy. That's where I spend most of my time um, on the water. Center console might help my thought getting more popular. Yeah, but it's the bow rider center console that's a little bit different. Um, Located in New Jersey, but spent its life in Maine. That may have been the boat that we were looking at then. I think that was Maine or Massachusetts. I don't remember. Um, all right, let's see, Dave. I'm not sure. I like that. Pushing for the new car. Let me try to get over to my and see those pictures. All right, so who is that? Dave. Dave, why am I not seeing you in here? Well, for whatever reason, those pictures aren't coming through to me, Dave. But um, let's see here. Pictures of the Key West Yamaha 300, the new F-150 4x4, additional comments, observations. So he was looking at a Grady, was looking at the Grady Freedom, decided, hey, I can get more of what I want, scaling back a little bit to the Key West, still getting a nice boat, still working with a great dealer, and just some of his thoughts on the experience. I like the add or some 30 to 40,000 to your budget for this is to buy the new car the wife wants. Um, that's awesome. All right, my throat is starting to give out here, guys. So Nitro did the center console thing back in the early 2000s. The Bash boat, they were picked it up, one seat in the helm, could fit four across. We were driving in the middle though. Yeah, I could see that and it's kind of what you get used to, right? You know, you're used to driving on that right side, and you switch over. It can be a little weird, but there is something to be said for the line of sight where you can see out of both sides as good. But it's just unusual for the bow rider. God dang, that fly is driving me crazy. I have the Vorsi shift and throttle. Almost never put my hand on the throttle when docking. One hand on each shifter. Just yeah, yeah. I running twins. Sea Ray, the Sea Ray 340 2004 340. I ran a lot of 340s and 380s, and they had that. There's that fly. He's got to go. Um, but they had that throttle set up, and I love just turning around, setting your butt on the steering wheel, keep it centered up, and and just it was so nice and neat. It was a thunk. Those boats are so big and heavy. Um, they were so big and heavy that it just went exactly where you wanted to. All right, I think I got that last little nonsense out of there too, but it was so solid. You could hear it clunk into gear. The big V drives, the big brass prop spinning, and that boat just went right where you wanted it. It was nice. Um, all right, got mine put away. Two put away the two boats for the winter time. Okay, that's what it. Last rebate was 1,500, so they added 4,000 to it to make it 5,500. And yeah, that's interesting. You know, it could the when inventories get real big. Um, I think I started selling boats in '09, and inventory levels were way high. Sales were way down right after the mortgage crisis. '07, they were pumping out boats like crazy. '08, they slowed the boats, but sales were just in the like there were under 200,000 boats sold in '08. So '09, they had all these '07s, they had a bunch of '08s, and they were building '09s. And so they were putting on I mean, this was at the time of a $50,000 23 footer, 24 footer. They were putting six, eight, $10,000 on some of those boats. It was unusual, and inventories were really high. The market was really slow, so it can happen. But 5,500 is a pretty sizable rebate on a boat that price. But they could go up for sure. All right, I'll check my email here in just a second. Thanks, Dave. I don't know what was going on there. Probably going to buy the turbo swing for the enjoy being towed a little more. Yeah, the spray in the face is my kids hate that as well. That is not their favorite. So let's see. Dave was sending me some emails. We'll let those trigger in here. Have 4 winds, 2 350 Pinta bilge heater, Eisenhower freshwater. Yeah, that's Alan. If you leave your boat in the water, having that heater in there and having the isinglass up, that can make it, especially in our area, it can be a year-round boating. Just make sure you've got the backup plan for, all right, if the power goes out with an ice storm, or especially in the Carolinas, we have a lot of our power lines are above ground in the Carolinas. And so when the ice comes, trees break, power lines go down real easy. So have your game plan. What are you going to do? And knowing you've got a little bit of leeway because you're probably hooked up to shore power and your batteries will last some time, but you want to be protected. And also you get a little bit of protection because you're in the water, and the water hickory, you're probably not going to freeze. So you got a little bit of wiggle room there if it's not getting, into the 20s. But just have a game plan just in case. But that is nice to extend the season for sure. All right. Thanks, Captain Matt. Appreciate your time. Helpful comments. New fan subscriber. Well, good. Glad to have you. You made it to this comment. Now get to all right, guys. I'm going to call her quits there. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of the live. Let me see if those pictures came in. There we go. Oh, I love that color. That's pretty. That is very pretty. So this is, let me see, let me go big on that. So this is Dave's new boat and new truck and the new truck that came with said boat. A good looking F-150. And let's see. So that's from experience, saying you get the new boat and then the new car, it oftentimes isn't far behind. It's like, I owned a mortgage company for a number of years, and it was always funny. People would buy a house, you would talk to them 6 months later, and like a huge percent of them bought a new car within a year of buying their new house. Like, all right, we got the new house. Now we got to get the new car to go in the garage. You got the boat. You got to get the nice new truck to tow it. But I love that color, man. That is really, really sharp looking. So congrats on that, Dave. Enjoy it. Hope I think you were the one that was working with Brad. Hopefully Brad took good care of you. You had a great experience. And all right, I'm gonna go gargle some salt water. Stop making you guys listen to me hacking away over here. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. And we'll catch you all next week for another live. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for subscribing, liking, and sharing, doing all that good stuff. Take care.